Yeah. Right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Harvey, Anne's little brother. And you have to excuse the dress. It's by royal command. And if you really want to know, yes, I am. Now, 10 years ago, she persuaded me to do something at this, so I can't do nothing. And then I remembered a naughty song, a rugby song, Brian Boru. Don't know if you remember it, but 10 years ago I sang Brian Boru. But of course everybody knows that, and that's the end of my repertoire. So then this year she said to me, well, she wanted me to do something else again, and I said, well, what can I do? And she said, well, read them a story. So I thought, well, that's all very well, but I was born in Cornwall, and down there it's very difficult to find a wife or something, so they generally marry their cousin. Well, you wouldn't want to marry your sister, would you?
No.
So that caused a lot of problems, and when I was at school, they reckoned that I was as thick as 2 pawn shanks, and so we had trouble. Well, one day, Mother took us all up to Plymouth to see an educational psychologist, and he gave us an IQ test. And when we got the result come through, it was 80, and we thought that was pretty good. And then he said, well, that was between all 5 of you. So I've had a problem, but anyhow, I've been practicing all year, ready for this special occasion, and I've got a lovely little story to read to you, and you'll love it because it's got a happy ending. Oh. So here we go. If I can find this here. Here we go. Ready? Right. This is the story of Rindercella and the Sugly Isters. Rindercella and their Sugly Isters lived in a large mansion. Rindercella worked very hard, throbbing floors, emptying pospits, and shiveling shop. At the end of the day, she was hucking fackard. The Sugly Isters were right bugly arsters. One was called Mary Hinge, and the other one was called Betty Swallocks. They were really horrible huckers. They had fetty sweet and fetty swannies. The Sugly Isters had tickets to go to the ball, but the cotton rumps wouldn't let Cinderella go. Suddenly, there was a bucking fang, and the Gary Fodmother appeared. She was a light rucking thespian. I told you I could read. She turned a pumpkin and 6 Mike Weiss into a cucking fuge Harwich, and 6 dandy ronkies with huge hollocks and big dicks. The Gary Fodmother told Rindercella she had to be back by midnight, otherwise there would be a cucking calamity. At the ball, Rindercella was dancing with the Pransome Hints, when suddenly the clock struck 12. "Mice all cracking fighting!" said Rindercella, and she ran out, tripping bars over ollocks, and dropping her slash clipper. The next day, the Pransome Hit knocked on Rindercella's door, and the Sugly Isters let him in. Suddenly, Betty Swallocks lifted her leg and let off a thick bark. "Who's first started?" said the Pransome Hit. "Babe, that ugly hooker over there," said Mary Hinge. The Hints tried the glipper on both Sugly Isters without success, and their feet stuck in funk. Betty Swallocks was ducking fiscuscles and gave the Hints a nick in the campus. This was not difficult, as he had fucking huge holes and a big bar on. He tried the glipper on Rindercella, and it fitted fucking perfectly. Rindercella and the Hints were married, and the Hints lived his life in lucking fuxery, and Rindercella lived hers with a swollen fanny, and they both lived happily ever after.